What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Project Cars 2. Today I'm going to be looking at the Ferrari Essentials DLC car pack. This car pack came out the other day. It introduces 8 new cars to the game and also 2 new tracks. The track I'm driving on right now is the Pista di Fiorano. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But then we also have the Mugello circuit, which I'll also be driving, alternating between the two. We start off with the 1961 Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta for our first car. This is a pretty cool car. I mean, I've driven this in a few games. It's fairly common for Gran Turismos and stuff like that. May also be an Assetto Corsa, I can't really remember, but I mean, it's okay. It's probably the slowest car in the pack, maybe, and it's one of the oldest. It's okay, personally not really my cup of tea though, however it is okay. We then have the 1957 Ferrari 250 Testarossa. This is the oldest car in the pack, and it's alright. It's a convertible classic Ferrari 250 Testarossa. It's okay. Once again, not really my cup of tea. I'm much more of a fan of the newer cars. Some of the old cars are pretty cool, but ones like this, you know, it's nice to have them in the game. However, I'm personally not a big fan for these older cars, especially when they're fairly slow. I mean, this one I believe is a little bit quicker than the GT Berlinetta. However, it's still not the quickest thing in the world. You know, it's not bad though, but I mean, it's okay. It's an okay car. Nothing that really piques my personal interest though. Next up, we have the 2015 Ferrari 458 Speciale A. Now, we already have a 458 Speciale in the game. We might even have a couple of them, I can't really remember. We definitely have a few, but this one's kind of just a convertible version, and I don't know, maybe it's got some slightly different modifications to it. Personally, this is okay. It's pretty fun to drive. It's very fun to drive. I don't think it's really much different to a normal 458 Speciale though. I don't know what the A is. I don't know, you know, it's just a different model or something, but it looks basically the same. It's just a convertible. And I mean, yeah, it's fun to drive, but is it really necessary when we already have 458s and stuff? I'm not too sure. Next up, we have the 1978 Ferrari 512 BB LM. This is pretty cool. I do quite like the Ferrari 512 BB. You know, I was first introduced to it in, I can't remember, Gran Turismo 5, Gran Turismo 6, and it was pretty fun. This is the LM version. We've got a few cars in this same category. Most notably, I think there's a couple of Porsches that are in this category. And I mean, it's okay. It's an okay car. It's fairly fun to drive, but you know, it's very similar looking and driving to the Porsches that I've driven, and I think there's a couple of other cars in this category too, from other manufacturers. So I mean, it's a nice car to have, but once again, not that interesting. Next up, we have the 2016 Ferrari F12 TDF. Now this, I think, is pretty cool. One of the best cars in the pack, in my opinion. We've seen the F12 TDF pop up in games quite a bit, so because of that, it's not the most exciting because we have seen it before. But altogether, it's fun. It's an absolute monster. I never really used to like the F12, but over the years it has grown on me quite a bit, and I think the TDF is a really cool car. It's like a really wide, I went very wide around that corner there. But yeah, the F12 TDF is a very fun car. So yeah, one of my favorites in the pack. It's just a shame that we have seen it in other games quite a bit before. Next up, we have the 2001 Ferrari F355 Challenge, or the F355 Challenge, however you want to say it. I think this is possibly the most unique car in the pack, maybe, and probably my favourite. This is probably my favourite car in the pack. Now, it's not super quick. It's fairly quick, of course it is. It's a Ferrari, basically a Ferrari race car in a way, but it's, I don't know, there's just something about it that makes it a bit more interesting. I quite like the looks of this car. I think it looks pretty cool. The F355 Challenge is an awesome car, and altogether, this is pretty cool. This is probably my favourite car in the pack, just for, it's a little bit more unique. Next up, we've got the 1987 Ferrari F40. This is also a very cool car, fun to drive. Just a really awesome car, and I do quite like the F40. I do quite enjoy this car in any game. However, this is one where, yes, it is probably one of the funnest cars to drive, I think, out of all of them. Oh, I just hit my mic, sorry about that, if that spiked. It is probably one of the best cars to drive, the funnest cars to drive. However, the F40, it should have been in the game from standard. This car is in a lot of games from standard, so it's one that I've driven quite a lot before, and because of that, it loses points. However, it's still pretty fun. It's nice to finally have it in Project Cars 2. And then our final car is the 2015 Ferrari FXK. Once again, a very fun car, the quickest car in the pack by quite a long shot, and obviously this thing is a monster. It drives really well. A little bit of a handful, but it does drive really well. But once again, like the F40 and kind of like the F12 as well, we've seen this car in a lot of other games by now. When this car first came out, it was out in a lot of games around that sort of time, so it's a few years old by this point, so we've already driven it, we've already got to know it. It's kind of been and gone, so it is a little bit late to Project Cast 2, sadly. So yeah, I mean, once again, it's a fun car, I just think it's a little late. So what do I think of the Ferrari Essentials car pack? It's a pretty good car pack. The problem is there's nothing too outstanding. There's no like new. 2016 is the newest car we get in this pack, and it's 2018 now. So I think we could have done something with something a little bit newer, something that we hadn't quite seen before. We don't really get that in this pack, which is a little bit disappointing. You know, if you've got the season pass, you basically get this for free along with that. But apart from that, I don't know if I'd suggest just buying this out of the blue, unless you do like all these cars. It's not the best, but it's okay. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.